Hi, Natalie, and hi, Megan. How are you?
Good, how are you?
It is so good to see you both. And normally, when we do our podcast, it's Natalie and I, but we have a special guest this week, and we're going to jump in, and Megan is going to be with us for the entire podcast as we talk about travel. What drives her to travel? And Megan has been a lifelong traveler, very seasoned traveler, writes a lot about travel on her own site, which is Mommy Travels, as well as Prime Women, the website that she edits. And before we go a bit further, I want to remind everybody, subscribe to our podcast here and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. We're on every single platform. So before we get started, Natalie, where are you today?
Hey Scotty, hey Megan. So I'm in Miami right now and it's really hot.
And what brings you to Miami?
So a little bit of work and play, right? So visiting family, this is where I'm from. I'm dropping off my son so he can have a fun summer break with his grandparents, and then I'm jet setting home so I can get back to work and take care of a few things, and then road trip back in late July. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, so that is quite the road trip, Texas to Florida.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's about stop and go with the dog. Yeah, probably like 16, 17 hours. So it'll be fun.
yeah, well, I'm glad you will enjoy it.
Yes.
And what kind of travel do you have coming up this summer, Megan?
Next week, I am headed to Glacier, Montana, so
Ooh.
in Whitefish,
Wow.
Montana. So very excited. Going fly fishing, whitewater rafting, and then after that, Puerto Vallarta. So obviously not road tripping to Puerto Vallarta. And then the next one's Vietnam.
So that's not a road trip either.
Well, we're going to road trip around Vietnam, but it's like a 24-hour flight to get over there. So.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's quite a lot of travel to get to Asia. It's a very
Mhm.
long flight. You better make yourself comfortable if you're doing that kind of flight. But let's
Oh yeah.
let's talk about. I do want to talk about traveling internationally because I want to talk about get your tips on rental cars. But let's back up just a little bit. You've been traveling with your family, with your kids, their whole lives, and I think your kids have probably been to more places on Earth than probably 99.9% of all people. They've seen everything. Where do you start with planning a trip for you and your kids? That's a lot of you.
I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to, are you headed to see family? Because I think most often a big long road trip is usually to see family, but sometimes, I mean, especially with the rising airfare cost, I think more people are road tripping this summer. And so instead of taking that flight to Florida, maybe to Disney, now you're driving. I know a lot of the people on the East Coast will make that drive down to Disney, and a lot of people in Texas will road trip over to New Mexico, where I have a friend that's up in Oklahoma right now. She's doing a road trip that I did last summer that I adored up to Chickasaw, of all places. It's Chickasaw Nation. And they have all these like cool springs, and you're talking about being in Miami, it's super hot. We're in Dallas and it's crazy hot. And 2 hours away, you can road trip up and there's like these springs and they're
Cool.
super cold. It's so refreshing, and you're in a beautiful area and you can hike. And so I know for us, sometimes it's just to get out of the mundane. We'll just jump in the car and go.
Mhm.
So that's the beauty about a road trip, is that sure, you can plan it and you can plan every stop and every hotel stop. And as you go, if you're doing a 9-day road trip, that takes, maybe a little more planning if you're camping along the way. But you can also just get up and go because you didn't make an airline ticket reservation. You're like, you know what? I'm bored. Let's go do something this weekend and just go.
But I think that's my favorite part about road tripping is not being tethered to a schedule. So if you decide you want to extend a day, you decide you want to come home a day early, you can do that without penalties and fines and competing for seats and not being seated next to your kids on a plane. That's a pain point for families a lot of times is they end up taking whatever seats they can get and they don't get to sit together. So
Yeah,
what
and
do
with
you
traveling with little kids, it's so nice. Like, say it's not going well, and you planned on going to the next stop, but you could just maybe have a down day instead, and you control the itinerary. I mean, you're the one driving, so if you need a down day and a pool day, or a bum around the hotel day, you can flex. How, and like you said, come home early. Let's say it's a disaster. Say it's your first road trip with baby and it's a nightmare and your baby won't sleep in any hotel room and you just think, I want to go home. You can go home.
I
Yes.
think you've been there. Have you been there?
Oh yeah, so many times. So many.
Yeah.
And so, what other tips do you have for people who are traveling with little kids?
So you know what? I'm a big believer in when you have little kids, yes, make your itinerary, plan it, but don't think that that is going to go the way you think it is. Just because you really wanted to have breakfast at, berries and batter on Wednesday, Wednesday could be a disaster. So I build in a lot of like flexibility. So you do the best you can, you plan the trip, and like if there are certain things you really want to do, prioritize them, and then the rest, if you get to it, great. But if you don't, it's no big deal. And then don't compare yourself to people on Instagram or TikTok that are
Mhm.
like having the time of their life and everything looks perfect and the kids are happy and they're in matching outfits and everything's just glorious and perfect. Like that is totally unrealistic. Like they're not
Yep.
showing you the truth behind the scenes where they forgot somebody's underwear or they forgot toothpaste or their kid had a breakdown at the theme park. Like so don't compare your family trip to somebody else's and stay flexible and be ready to pivot and do something else if need be.
So, Natalie, you mentioned traveling with the dog. What tips do you have for people who are planning a road trip with their pet?
Ooh, so yeah, that flexible, like just be prepared for the unexpected always. It's so real.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you said that, Megan, because we always see these online, these beautiful trending trips, and I'm like, that's not real. You don't show the dad freaking out on the GPS or like the kid, sick in the back seat or the snacks everywhere. And then what about the dog, right? The poor dog. It gets hot. So, I have a little fan for him back there, also a car care kit because everybody makes a mess whether they want to admit it or not, but especially the dog can't help it, right? So the dog bags, having a complete blanket, the dog harness with the seatbelt so that way, he's locked in, dog toys. And sometimes some dogs get anxious when they travel, so you have to get medication for them. So you have to think about that. Like, okay, they have to take their medication, they have to eat, maybe they have to go for potty breaks a little bit more than kids, right? So it's planning out then the unexpected. Where can I stop for not only the dog, and kiddo, but maybe we need a stretch break. Dog needs to sniff around just to have fun. They need to have fun too. So bring a ball for them, and also those portable, compactable water or food bowls. Those are really helpful.
I like the new Ask Maps feature on Google.
Hmm.
You can just tap the Ask Maps and you can ask like a full sentence question. So you don't have to like just look and see where the next gas station is. You can find where's the next gas station that has a pet, what do you call it? Pet garbage center or whatever, pet
Right.
care center. So that there's like, that there's going to be grass, there's going to be shrubs. And because, the worst thing is like you just
Oof.
pick an exit and then
Yeah,
every single gas station only has concrete and there's
I
no
know.
place to not even, or there's like a tiny little median like right next to speeding cars going 80 miles an hour. Like that's not a safe place to walk a dog. So the pet hygiene stations are, important to look for. And then to get them some fresh water is
Right.
nice too after your water's been sitting in the car all day. But let's talk about traveling with older kids. So, Natalie, you just took your son on a flight, and he's in middle school now? Is he in middle school?
Yeah. So he's now in middle
Yeah.
school. He just
How was
graduated
that?
elementary. So, oh my gosh. So traveling, he's a great traveler. I love it. He's just excited about, I get to be on a plane. I get to look out the window. I get snacks, brought to me. Like he feels like a king. So it's cool to have like, just like you would in a car, you have to have connectivity. Like, let's be real. Sometimes like even us as adults, we need to watch something, or listen to music. So being able to have, music or a movie preloaded, very helpful. But then having the connectivity, having your own cables with you. So when you get off the plane, if you are getting into someone else's car, like if it's an Uber or rental, you have everything ready. So that way, no matter what, you're not stopping the fun because sometimes it can get dicey and you do need to plug in. But thankfully, he's good with both being unplugged and plugged. But it's sometimes, like I said, you need a break. But bringing everything with you, tissues, hand sanitizer. He has his own, right? Like his own, over the ear headphones. That's helpful too. Just to be in his own space. Because on the airplane, sometimes you hear everyone else, you're like, I don't want to hear that. Or there's just dead silence, and that could be overwhelming too. So just having everything you need is very key in that bag.
Megan, you have three kids who are all they've been traveling with you, of course, since they were little. Now they're all young adults. What's your advice for families traveling with older kids?
I think it's a really good opportunity to just talk. It's a great chance to really see like how their lives are going, to really tap into like what have they been thinking about? What are they worried about? Like it's a really good opportunity. So we just road trip to Eden's graduation. So two of my boys and I road trip down from Dallas to Austin. It's about 3.5 hour drive. And it was just nice to catch up. Like Jonah was home from college. He just finished his first year of college and hearing all about different aspects of his year that we didn't know about. And then, Noah's doing his first professional job since graduating college the year prior, and we hadn't seen him lately. He didn't get Christmas or Thanksgiving off. So just like the opportunity to just really like listen to each other and catch up and talk. And I mean, look, we listen to goofy songs too, and we always create like the family jam on Spotify where everybody can drop in their own music, and then you have to guess who added the song. It's always obvious because we know each other so well, but yeah, I think it's a really good opportunity. And then the nice thing about that is that, I mean, I used to hate road tripping, but it's because I was the only driver because I was a single mom, and it was a long time before one of my kids could drive, and so. Wow, what a difference it makes when they can drive. So, of course, then I'll be looking at my phone and I'll look up when they're driving and scream because I don't like the way they're driving. So you got to take a chill pill, but and we can go a lot. You can go a lot further when you've got multiple drivers. I mean, so used to like really my bandwidth, like I can have one 14 to 17 hour day of driving and I'm done. So we better be where we need to be at the end of the 14 to 17 hour drive because that was it. Now we could go a lot further, but.
My rule was always whoever sits in the front passenger seat is the co-pilot,
Hmm.
and you're not allowed to sleep or be on your phone the whole time. You are running the music, you're navigating, you're answering questions, and you're keeping the driver awake.
Yes.
So if you're sitting in the back, you're welcome to sleep, nap, stream, whatever. But if you're
Yeah.
sitting in the front passenger seat, which was always for me, because I did a lot of solo road trips with my girls while my husband was working, and we just had like a whole empty summer ahead of us. So we did a lot of road tripping, and neither of them were old enough to drive, so I had to do all the driving. And so they were always battling over who could sit in the front seat, and I'm like, well, you got to be my co-pilot. So it's up to you. If you really want to be the co-pilot, great, but you can't just like tune out on me. So,
Yep.
but I love the topic about conversation or the idea of conversation with your kids. It's such a um, precious moment that we get to spend with our kids. Yeah. So let's talk about preparing ourselves for a road trip. When you're thinking about a road trip, Megan, how far in advance do you start to think about it, and what kind of things do you do in preparation for a road trip?
Well, Scotty, I'm not a planner. So, when I decide to do something, we execute it pretty quickly. So, do I need an oil change? Do I need to get the car cleaned up for the trip? Like what area are we going in? Like, do I need new tires? So,
Mhm.
that's always something I think about really is the car prep initially, and then from there I build out like, okay, we're going to stay at this hotel, and we're going to go here, go do this, go do that, like, you
So
know.
how do you find the hotels where you're going to stay? And do you like map out? Do you actually like look at the map and see where you're going to go and like what does that look like in your process?
So it kind of depends on what we're up to. So, I mean, it's great if you can find a centrally located hotel. I was just in San Luis Obispo last month, and kind of our landing spot was downtown San Luis Obispo. But San Luis Obispo County is pretty big, so you can go out to Paso Robles to the wineries and a more deserty feel, or you could go out to the ocean and Pismo Beach. And so we kind of picked a spot that was in the middle to to launch from. So, it was only 15 minutes this way for that, or 15 minutes the opposite direction for that. So that's kind of how I picked that hotel, was just um, I know some people like to switch hotels, so you do a little bit in this area. I mean, there are a lot of areas you can go to and kind of do like two cities, and I know that's pretty common during a road trip. And so I know a lot of people do Austin and San Antonio. Okay, if you're going to do that, you can't go back and forth. The traffic's so bad, so you
Yeah.
need a hotel at one, and then you need to switch. So you got to factor in like drive time. So 12, 15 minutes, no big deal. You can bop around no problem. Like an hour plus, switch hotels. So,
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. And
well,
so, talk about San Luis Obispo because that's such a beautiful area. Where did you stay?
so I stayed at Hotel San Luis Obispo, which is a boutique property right there in downtown. It's very upscale. It was lovely. Loved the location. They do a incredible farmers market on Thursday nights there. That's like a farmers market on steroids. It just went and went and went. Like, just when I thought we were getting to the end, there was more. I was like, that's crazy. But and everyone apparently everyone comes out for it. Like all the businesses participate. It was really cool. But I wanted to do a lot of the wineries. I mean, I love Paso Robles wines, which is Austin Hope, and so that was a little further away, like maybe 35 minutes from the hotel, I think was the furthest we got. But again, it's under an hour, so there was no point in switching to that area. And then we went out to the beach to ride bikes. I love that area. The temperature swung really bad though. I mean, we were out zip lining on I think it's Margarita Ranch, which is a really cool 14,000 acres. They're running cattle, but they put zip lines in for whatever reason. And so they've got these great six zip lines, but it's like 80 something degrees zip lining. Well, then that night we went to the Sensarium, I think is what it was called, where it's like out in the fields out near Paso Robles, and it's these fields where they put all these light installations, so it's like an art thing. Well, it was like under 50 degrees. It was probably 49 degrees. It was freezing. I was dressed totally inappropriate for it because I was like dressed for summer when they're still experiencing winter and summer in the same day. So
Yeah,
that's where it gets
probably.
tricky on a road trip is like if you are going to have those, now you have to pack winter clothes and summer clothes. So now you have to think more about the space in the car.
Well, that's what I like about road tripping is you can just throw everything in the car. If you're flying, it's much harder. You have to limit if you have to dress in layers and bring a jacket and bring a sweater, you can't shop. And I'm like team no checked bags. So I don't want to shop and then have to check a bag, like check a bag to go there so I can shop and I still have to check a bag coming home.
Yeah.
And I hate that. So I like to try to plan my wardrobe as efficiently as possible. But when you're planning for like three different seasons, really, it's like cool in the morning, it's hot in the afternoon, and cold at night. That's a pain in the neck to
Yeah. I mean, a
pack.
lot of Texans go from here to Colorado, and it's the same thing once you get into those mountains. I mean, the temperature swing, you got to have one set of clothes at night. Like if you're dining in like downtown Beaver Creek, they have all these amazing, like unique, individually owned restaurants, and they're incredible. But you're probably going to sit outside, and even if you are inside, they probably have all the doors open, so you're still sitting outside.
Yeah.
And it cools off quick once that sun goes down.
The thing I like about road tripping is you can throw in your boots, you can throw in a nice vest, you can throw in a nice heavy sweater, and you do not have to check a bag. You can just
Yeah,
take whatever you need with you and not have to worry about overpack. You can overpack a little bit. And then if you see a great pair of boots while you're shopping, while you're touring around, you can buy them and you have plenty of space to bring them home, at least.
except y'all, it's way cheaper to not buy boots on vacation when you
Yes.
are in tourist trip. You can save $200 if you go to the boot barn.
Yes.
That is true. That is true. So, Natalie, talk about what your strategy is for putting together a road trip with your family. Where do you start?
Yeah, so for me, it's about, okay, so who's coming for the drive, right? So, configuring, is it just, the four of us? It's husband, dog, and my son, right? And, who's sitting where? Um, what are they bringing? Where are we going? And then what are we doing when we get there? Or that's the biggest thing for me is who's coming and then what are we packing? So if it's just like, it's going to be 3 of us, my husband and the dog. So it's like, okay, I can have, all the seats down and put a comfortable, little bed for him. So, when we stop, he has somewhere to sit. But I can bring some extra luggage. That's the biggest thing because flying, you have to restrict. I learned from you, Scotty, because I've so much trauma from check bags traveling without me landing in the destination. So I was like, thank you. I've learned the art of mix and match from you as well. So for me, this has been really easy of like, okay, we're going to do the 3-3-2 rule. Because my mom has sandals here for me. I just leave them because I know. And she always has house slippers for me. That's like the Filipino thing. We have indoor shoes and then outdoor. So I'm like, okay, I know I have sandals there. I'm just going to bring my sneakers and then some nice heels when we go out. So that way, at least I have some options. And then, 1 pair of jeans, I have shorts and then a pair of leggings, right? And then I swap everything. So for me, it's easy. My son, he's just easy. He just shows up, So I have to tell him, okay, like grandma has a washing machine, so you don't have to bring everything with you, your whole wardrobe, If we didn't have a washing machine, that would be different, right? So he's learned the art of mix and match too. Bring 1 bathing suit, 1 shorts, 1 jeans, a couple socks depending on how many days you're there. Match it up with all the things, right? And don't forget your toothbrush, right? Or deodorant, because we're at that phase now where it's like, boys, please put on deodorant.
Oh my God.
Thank goodness, stores everywhere. So
Right, yeah, and if
Yes.
they forget it, you can at least grab it. It's not like buying boots, somewhere, and that could be pricey.
Yeah, I know. I feel that's always sort of the thing that takes the edge of stress off for me is just the thought if I forget something, I can always get it. I can always
Yes,
just keep that in mind. If you forget something, it's really important. You can always get it. Charge cord for your phone or
right.
toothbrush or toothpaste or whatever. But I think the washing machine, like I cannot do laundry on vacation. Cannot. I know people do. And I'm like, nope. You're gonna pack for however what you need while we're there. I'm not doing laundry on vacation. I can't imagine spending all that time
No.
in a place and then you're like, go to the laundromat or go to the laundry
Yeah.
in the hotel.
Only because it's my mom's house. Otherwise,
Yeah,
hygienically, I'm like, absolutely not.
it's also going
Freaks
to
me
be
out.
there for more than a week. I
clothes
want
in
to
the shower.
shift gears a little bit and talk about EV road trips because I've done several, but you've done them, Megan. Did you do an EV road trip? And have you
Yes.
done an EV road trip, Natalie?
Nope, not yet.
Not yet. So, Megan, tell us what you learned about EV road tripping.
Well, you know that I'm not a big fan. If I'm honest, I'm not a big fan. So I do not like having to stop to charge. So if I am going to do it, I want my hotel to have a charger so that I can charge it overnight. That's a must at the hotel. A must. I
Yes.
don't want to have to drive and leave the car at the convenience store that has a charger and walk back to my hotel. And
Right.
then you might leave it on the charger too long and then you get fined for leaving it on the charger too long, which I've had happen and that
Oh,
made me
wow.
very
Yeah.
so, I got to have a charger at the hotel, and then you really have to look at the road to make sure that the right kind of charger. I want a supercharger, whatever you want to call it. I want the highest powered, fastest charging you can get. But what sucks is like, depending if there's not a lot along the way, then you're going to be waiting in line for your turn to use it. So then the time that you might have saved, now you lost because you were waiting in line. So I get very frustrated because I'm very impatient.
I'll leave a link below to my favorite apps for road trip travel, or just for being in the car, really. And one of them is called PlugShare, and it allows you to set your route based on where the most fast chargers are, or the most charge. Like you really want, if you're traveling, you really want a fast charger because that's the one that's gonna give you back to 80% charge in about 30 minutes or so. Might be 40, might be 20, um,
And you
but
got to
it's
factor this in about like, say you're going to a national park, you need to know which entrance has the charger because that
right.
Mm,
charger might be at one entrance only.
Yes. And that's right. So my advice is PlugShare, or there's another one called a Better Trip Planner that you can use. to plan your trip. Do not rely just on the charge recommendations of your car, because your car is programmed to give you just the first charger.
Mm.
And even if you can set it for, say, a level 2 or a level 3, it still may not give you, it still may tell you based on other criteria that you may not have programmed in. Like it may tell you, well, you know, this one will get you there with 5% left on your battery. That's too low for me. I feel very
Yeah.
nervous. If it's below, if it's, single digits of charge level left, I don't feel good about that. I feel like then I have to turn off the air conditioning and start driving really slow because I don't want to run out of charge,
Right.
right? So I like to recharge my car when I'm between 15 and 20%. And that means more stops for me. But you just don't know. So I just feel like I believe you need a backup plan. You always need a backup plan. So that's why I like use the one in the car as sort of a guide. Use PlugShare or a better trip planner to actually plan your trip. And then you can also go to Google and do Ask Maps on Google Map, and that will tell you as well. But I like the PlugShare because it shows up on Apple CarPlay, so you can see it on the screen. But if you do not like the planned stops, like you lose your spontaneity. You can lose your spontaneity with EV travel.
Look, and
Um,
also some areas of the country don't have enough chargers, so you shouldn't be
yes.
in an EV depending on where you're headed. So now that has, I mean, they have quadrupled or more the amount of chargers across the country, but there are still certain areas that just don't have enough. And so you're gonna have to do a little research before you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna rent that Tesla or whatever. Like, just double check.
Yes. So let's talk about rental cars because I will say renting an EV, I have done it actually. I have rented EVs before, but I knew exactly where I was going to charge and all of that. So that wasn't, and it was like I was in a city. I wasn't going on a big road trip, but I do see people rent EVs. I think that there were a lot of them in the fleet, in the rental car fleets for a while, and I think there are fewer of them now. I think they've sold a
Mhm.
lot of them off because people didn't like them. But if you're not an seasoned EV driver, do not rent an EV would be my recommendation for if you're doing a fly and drive trip. So what's your recommendation for a fly and drive trip when you're renting a car, Megan?
Well, I mean, you need to look at the terrain that you're headed into because if you need a 4x4 vehicle, then, you know, that really limits your choices really quick with the rental car company. If you're headed to Hawaii or something and picking up a rental, you're going to want a Jeep probably or a Bronco. And
Why would you need 4x4 or all-wheel drive in Hawaii?
well, I guess it depends on which island you're at. So, you know me, we are very spontaneous and we take roads we shouldn't have, like, again, also Costa Rica, you're going to need to be in a 4x4. Like, do
Oh
not
yeah.
rent a regular car. So,
For the hills, to get up and
yeah,
down the hills. Yeah.
yeah, or the regular roads through the neighborhood. It depends on where you're at. So,
Mhm.
or if you're going to be driving on beaches, if you're driving up in the mountains, you know, you don't want a two-cylinder car if you need to gain 10,000 in elevation or whatever. So, just like little things to think about.
We were in Hawaii and we were driving a front wheel drive minivan and they told us, and we were told, do not go on this road down to this little town that was like over the mountain and down into the valley, into the beach. It was really beautiful. And they were like, it's really beautiful. You go to the hill and you look at it from there, but don't go down in there because your car will not get back up that hill.
Yeah, the kids and I were in a car in Greece where we were under on one of the arms of Halkidiki, and we were out just driving around that arm of Halkidiki, and I needed to get up a hill. It wasn't even that difficult, but in Europe, and this is important because European cars are not the same as American cars. So you think that car can get up that hill? No, it cannot. It cannot. It's not the same power level. So
Well,
I ended up having to drive all the way back around to get to the hotel because I couldn't get up one little hill. And I was like, well, maybe some of y'all get out of the car and let's see if we can get up the hill. We still couldn't get up it. So,
That's crazy. So what else do you look for when you're renting a car? What else do you look for besides thinking about the terrain and the capability of the
So I
car?
look for a discount code. So I typically only rent through budget. I'm a reward member through budget, which means I get the fast break so I can walk up and get my car and leave quicker so I'm not standing in line. So first of all, join a reward program for whichever one you want and stick with it. That way you don't wait in line. Secondly, look at your bank. Your bank probably offers a bunch of travel codes, and some of them are going to be for rental cars. So I bank through USA, which is the military bank. So a lot of people bank at USA. And they have a code for enterprise budget, Avis, and another one I forget. And so that's going to be your best deal. So between that discount code and your reward number, you're going to get the best price.
And when you can just walk up and take the car, what do you have a strategy for that, or do you care?
Well, so usually I've booked, it's going to be a Toyota Camry or equivalent, or it's a Toyota Sienna and equivalent, so I know I'm going to get something in that category.
I usually, when I rent a car, and I shop for the best price. I don't rent a car that often, but I do it maybe like a few times a year. And I prefer. I want to say it's Hertz that allows you. That's where that's my loyalty. Allows you to walk up and pick whatever they'll just say anything on row F,
Oh,
right?
nice.
And so I can walk down the line, I can look in each car and the keys are in it. I can look in each car and I can decide. And usually I end up going with either a Hyundai or a Kia because their Apple CarPlay and multimedia system is the most advanced and most advanced safety features. So unless it's not clean, unless it's like kind of gross, then I keep moving. But which happens. I feel like rental car companies are not very good at cleaning their cars. Do you recommend, speaking of gross rental cars, do you recommend renting a child passenger car seat, or should you bring your own?
Bring your own.
Bring your own. Why?
You don't know if that car seat has been in a wreck. You don't know if it's expired. Bring your own. You can
Uh-huh.
check it for free.
Yes. And I just feel like the car seat, the rental car seats are dirty. I just don't
Look,
want
I
my,
mean, sometimes
you
you
know.
get in a bind, and that's the best you can do, and it is what it is. I remember one time when Noah was a baby, we flew into Valdosta, Georgia, and you just got what you got, and it was like a car seat that was so old. I didn't even know they made car seats that look like that anymore, and I'm like, this can't be safe.
Oh no.
Right?
It
Right.
has to be expired, right? I mean, it had metal. I mean, it had metal poles on it. I was
Oh
like,
wow.
granted, this is like in 2001, 2002 when he was a baby, but still, I'm like, where'd you get this car seat?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so distrustful of those, so I always say bring your own too. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
but I think a lot of people are like, can I cut down on the amount of stuff I have to carry through the airport? But I think no.
It's a free check. You can check it for free. So just bring your own. You know it's safe. You know where it's been. You know if it's been in an accident. You know it's not expired. Like, bring your
Yeah,
own.
yeah. And your kid will sleep well in it because it'll be comfortable.
Hmm.
So let's talk about international travel a little bit because you said you're going to Vietnam.
Yeah, yeah, we're going to Vietnam next month.
Yeah. And so tell us about that.
I was there a couple of years ago on a press trip and I saw a tiny bit of the country and I didn't get to do a lot. And I got to look out the window though as we traveled around and I was like, this place looks awesome. And I've been to Thailand and I was like, we have to come back. And I saw a flash deal and I booked it impulsively. And so we're all going.
Where did you find a flash deal?
On Tour Radar, which is a third party tool. So you have to be careful using it. And so it's all these different tour operators. I booked a trip to Turkey and ended up with a pretty good tour operator, but it's these locals that offer these really good deals. The catch is sometimes they'll say, oh, we're going to take you to learn about this gemstone today, and it's super educational. No, it's not. It's a gift shop. They want you to buy it. It costs $4 at the gift shop down the street, but
Mhm.
at the store it's going to be 180. So get your good deal and then refuse to go shopping.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you had told me something that I thought was really interesting about how these international hotels are star rated.
So that's the thing. So you could book a 3 star, a 4 star, or a 5 star on this particular tour. I bet I was talking about this upcoming trip. And so I just went with 3 star. And we have a couple of families going with us and they're super nervous. They want to book 5 star. I'm like, well, I've stayed in a five-star Vietnam hotel, and the room is a twin bed. I'm not making this up. It was a twin bed, plain, basic. There's nothing remotely five-star about it. So when we think of five-star, you think full-size amenities, like a
Mhm.
full-size bar of soap, robes, slippers, special mattresses, special pillows, maybe scent in the room, like aromatherapy,
Mhm.
or no, nope, 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 none of that. I mean, you might get lucky and stay there. That's going to be a resort. And now you're no longer on the star system. You're at a resort in Asia. My
Yep.
five-star resort I stayed at in Asia, it's because it had an amazing pool and was at the beach. The rooms were a dump, but the property was great. The kids
Gotcha.
club was great, but the rooms were disgusting.
So what is it? What's the difference between a 3-star, a 4-star, and a 5-star? You'll find
I don't
out.
know. Yeah, not much. Not much.
Yeah.
So, like when we're staying in the city and we're on the tour, it doesn't matter if we have a pool, we're going to be really busy. Like I saw our itinerary those days. So, like we could stay in the five-star, but our room wouldn't be probably any better than the three-star. So, why pay the extra money? It's
Right.
probably the pool, honestly, the amenities.
But you're not going to be using the pool.
We won't be using them, no.
No.
So not those days.
Yeah.
Now we're doing an overnight on a boat, and I did get that upgraded so that we have a pool on the boat. But
Ooh.
again, it didn't change the room situation. The room's the same, but maybe there's another alcohol choice or maybe another activity choice. It's not. It's just not the same.
So it's not
So.
about quality, it's about quantity. The more stars, the more things there are that they offer.
Maybe. I mean, you just have to look it up. So I was like waiting to see where they booked us, and then if I was like, no, I don't want to stay there, then I would say, well, let's upgrade it.
Hmm. And
But
so, but you looked at the hotels that they booked and that seemed
they're
fine.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
fine.
that's good. That's
Mhm.
good. And you have another interesting trip coming up in the fall, right?
Oh yeah, the kids and I are hosting a river cruise. It's a Christmas market cruise. It's over Thanksgiving with Amma Waterways. So if anybody's interested in it, you can call and ask to be on the Mommy Travels cruise over Thanksgiving. We're going down the Rhine, and it starts in Amsterdam, goes through Germany into France, and then ends in Switzerland. So there's a bunch of we stop every day. It's all inclusive, which I think a lot of people don't realize that there are many river cruises that are all inclusive. So there's like three excursions a day you can choose from, and you can pick based on like your pace. So if you want to go slower place that day, or if you want to go biking, or you can kind of pick what you want, your activity level, which is really nice. And the food's good, and it includes I think wine and beer at dinners, and so it's an all-inclusive experience.
Oh, that's amazing.
And what's
And so,
great is because it's over Thanksgiving, it's not officially
Mhm.
Christmas market season, but you're doing a Christmas market cruise at a Thanksgiving cruise price.
oh,
Nice.
that's good. And
Mhm.
so, how many stops are there on the cruise?
I mean, there's stops every day, and then it's very scenic.
And how
So
many days is it?
it's seven, or it's eight, 7 nights, 8 days.
Okay. And
Mhm.
so, but the Christmas markets will be there. They'll be open. Yeah, that's
Yeah, they'll be
amazing.
opening, like, we'll literally be there on opening day for a bunch of them.
Oh,
Oh, that's
cool.
fantastic. And how much is that?
So it totally depends on your room. So I'd say anywhere from 3,200 a person to 8,000 per person. It totally depends on what you pick. So
Uh-huh. And that's
yeah.
just the cruise. That doesn't include airfare.
No, they are running airfare deals. That's through Amma Waterways. So I think there are some free airfare deals. And then my friend Bernice booked it, and she said they have a post cruise excursion that they got added. They
Oh,
threw it in for free, so that's like a huge value.
Nice.
So they'll be in Switzerland for 3 or 4 days.
oh, nice. All
I
right.
was like,
There-
okay.
We have a link below to that cruise for anybody who's interested in the Christmas market cruise at Thanksgiving, which I think sounds like the perfect time to go. Um, because as you get closer to Christmas, the markets get very busy and uh, and the days get shorter. It gets
Yes.
darker early, and it's dark early in that part of Europe anyway. But that sounds amazing. So I have to tell you guys this. So Megan, do you have any? any tricks for or any advice on getting a passport?
Actually, so we just got Jonah's passport and it took less than 1 week.
How did you do that?
Okay, so we made the appointment. So he went to the local passport office, which was also at the DMV. It's
Hmm.
a different office, but it's at the DMV, so close to our house. I made an appointment for the very next day. We already had his photos done at CVS. Any pharmacy will do your photos, Walgreens, CVS. It's quick and easy, and they guarantee it. So if they don't accept your photo, they'll give you your money back. Granted, we ended up going to the passport office, so you could have had your photos there. But I did pay that to expedite it, and I did pay. Not only can you pay to expedite it, you can now pay to have them priority ship it back to you once it's ready. And so, I mean, we had it like that.
That's amazing. That's so good to hear because I know that they were really backed up for a long time,
Right.
and with all the immigration stuff too, that they were experiencing a lot of backlog on passports. But here's my tip, and I'm going to show you guys because I had to go do this today. I had to get my international driver permit, which
Ooh.
requires passport photos, and I am thrifty. And I hate paying $20 for passport photos. So I went into Canva, I took a photo, and I went into
I was like,
Canva, and I'll tell you the trick on this because if you just take your photo and then like drop it into Walgreens photo printing
Right.
with your two little 2-inch square photos, they will reject it. They
Oh,
will
wow.
not they will not print, or CVS, neither of them will print passport photos. So I went into Canva and I added my photos and I sized them for 2 inches. And then I added like little flowers around it and a little graphic that said like so cool or something like that. And I put that on the two photos and those little graphics on a 4x6. And that cost me 42 cents for two photos.
Oh, wow.
it's the cheapest
And
thing
it
ever you do.
Right.
and it literally took me like 5 minutes. And then I just drove over to Walgreens and they printed it and they're like, here you go.
Wow.
Funny.
So that's my favorite cheap girl travel hack is getting your passport photos printed for 42 cents. I feel like when you pay, what did you probably pay close to $200 for Jonah's passport?
I want to say it was about 160. But I bought
Yeah.
the bigger book. I bought the thicker book because we travel so much. So,
Yeah. I want to say when I got mine done, and I did pay for the expedited service and the return I paid for the return overnight package, which added like another $30 or something to it. It was close to 200 bucks. And I was like, you know what? I'm paying for everything. I just cannot pay another $20 for photos. So
yeah.
I did the same thing last time as I did here. And they took them. I just went to a blank wall. This one actually, though, this photo, I actually took the photo with good light and then erased the background on Canva
Oh, nice.
and just used that background eraser. And it just took it all out. And it's like the light's fine and the background is totally blank and you wouldn't know.
Can't do that unless you have a membership to Canva, though.
Oh, yes, I do have a membership to Canva. You can
Oh,
also do it on I if you have a Mac on
Mhm.
iPhoto, we'll do it too. Like you can, or on Preview, I guess it is.
Yeah.
You can take out the background
one of the
on a.
reasons I got Jonah when I paid extra to get the bigger book is because the last time I flew into Vietnam, the visa takes up an entire page. It took
Oh,
up the
wow.
full page, and then the stamps took up half a page. So going to Vietnam took up 1.5 pages.
Hmm.
Yeah, well,
So I literally checked my passport the other day to make sure I had 1.5 pages left because I was like, "Oh, that's getting pretty full, but it'd be nice if they
yeah.
put that visa right over the other visa they did.
Can they do that?
I don't know. I'll tell you at the end of July if they can do it.
It's going to be an amazing trip. So you'll be spending time at the beach too?
Yeah, and a little bit it's an 11-day trip, so we're doing a little mix of
Woo.
everything.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
cool.
amazing.
Mhm.
And you've got a fun trip coming up this summer, Natalie. Where are you guys going?
So we're actually planning a girls' trip to Palm Springs. So my mom and I. This is long overdue. I've been learning, I learned from y'all, with all these tips. I'm like, okay, jot that down. And how to learn, use your points and miles and stuff. That's been the biggest thing. And like, oh, I didn't know that, like with USAA, when you were talking, I'm like, okay, jot that down. Because, I have a membership too. So I was like, oh, okay. Like I got a card. And my mom was like, so I have all these points. Like, what do I use them for? And I'm like, oh, dear God, thank you. Now we can travel on all your points and, miles, and we'll figure it out. So now we're figuring that out. So we'll be driving from Florida in Miami all the way to Palm Springs. And my mom, the last time we did a long road trip was when I was 5, and we went to Niagara Falls. So it's been a minute since we've been just solo driving together.
Drive from Florida to Palm Springs, California.
Yep.
Like the hottest road trip ever.
Yeah.
I know. That's why we have to have AC. It cannot be an EV.
No.
So yeah.
No driving an EV. Wow.
Or
Wow.
the other option would be, because my mom was talking about it. I'm more experienced at driving long term. She's more of a passenger princess, which is fine. I usually, like when I visit here, I drive. My mom's like, you drive all the time. I'm like, yes, okay, let me take over. So we might also either she flies into DFW or, Dallas, and then we'll drive that way. I've done that drive a couple times, going to the Southwest with, Elias will go to like Vegas, or San Francisco. So I'm familiar, and that weather drop is insane, and I don't think my mom's prepared for it. So
I'm going to
Speaking
say,
that's one thing to think about is the weather, because there's been so much flash flooding the
yes.
last few years, I feel like. And my daughter actually got caught in there was a flash flood in Waco last week.
Oh wow.
so you got
And
caught in that?
yes, in a Mini Cooper. And so she was on the highway, but she recognized what was happening.
Right.
And so she was able to jump a curb in the Mini Cooper. She bottomed it out pretty bad, but she got completely off the highway, completely
Mhm.
away from the access road. And then she called me and I'm like, we're gonna get a hotel. I'll get you a
Yep.
hotel right now. I was like, what are the closest hotels to you? She gave me 2 hotels. One of them was available. I booked it and they went straight to the hotel for the night. And then but if they had stayed another
Oh yeah.
hour, they would have been floating down the road. So,
That's crazy. I didn't realize that. I saw that on the news. We were talking about that because I've never seen flooding like that ever in my
Mhm.
life. And there
yeah.
was like on the interstate, and they showed like it looked like a waterfall of water cascading off the interstate and onto the access road, and then cars floating on both the
hmm
interstate and the access road.
Yeah, she
Wow.
was right in that area. So, I was like, you did the right thing. She's like, well, I bottomed out my
Mhm.
car really bad. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, it's more
safe.
important.
That's a
Yeah.
lot easier to fix than a car that's been flooded out and you're dead. I mean, good
Yeah,
job. Yeah.
yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, California in the summer, it's generally okay. Like the biggest risk there is fires because it's so dry,
Hmm.
and they've had a really wet winter, and
Right.
a very, very robust spring. But in Palm Springs, it's a little different because that is the desert, and that is one of my favorite places to go in the summer because no one's there. It's very
Yes.
hot. If you do anything, if you play golf or tennis or go for a hike or whatever, do it really early in the
Really early.
morning
Yeah.
and even late in the afternoon. It's hot, but
Go do
it
the
is,
tram up to the mountains. It'll be 80 degrees up there instead of 100.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
and there'll still be snow up there, even in the middle of August. But I just like to go and like just live the pool life, just really
Yes.
relax, get a massage, go to the pool. Don't go out to dinner until 8 o'clock when the sun starts to go down, and just enjoy, shopping is good any time of day. The shopping
Oh
is
yes.
always
An Aperol spritzer is a great inspiration for shopping.
good. That is so true. That is so true. All right. Well, Megan, thanks for joining us for What Drives Her, talking about summer travel plans and travel tips. Anyone can go to Megan's site, mommytravels.net, or find her over at Prime Women. There's a lot of good travel content over there as well, in addition to all the other good and helpful things that Prime Women focus on for women who of a certain age. And thanks for being our guest today, Meagan.
Thanks for
And thank
having
you,
me.
Natalie, for, as always, being our co-host and also our co-producer. I'm Scotty Reese, of course, your host for What Drives Her, the podcast from A Girl's Guide to Cars. Our editor is Steph Howard. Our music is by Envato Elements. And please join us again next time. Thanks, everybody.